This is the John Meccico Show on Talkradio.
All right, guys, welcome to Talk Radio 1680 Kged. You are listening to John Meccico, and we are at the big Fresno Fair, and start of the week, and there's a lot of activity for Monday afternoon. I'm looking at some of the Republican Party that's across from us. They're signing up a lot of people there, which is actually very good. They've been doing that all the days that I've been here. So tonight at the big Fresno Fair, for you guys that remember old school, that Frank Sinatra era, and a little past that, 60s and 70s, we have Paul Anka. We have Paul Anka here today, and he is coming on at 7 o'clock. You guys remember Paul Anka? He was the one who wrote My Way, which Frank Sinatra made extremely famous, as well as Elvis Presley. And, so I think that's going to be pretty good. Put Your Head on My Shoulder, Lonely Boy. He had a lot of hits back in the day. So, and then I saw something that they were going to have, I guess they start in an hour, a cow milking demonstration. Guys, I'm from the city. I haven't seen a cow milking demonstration before. Not sure I'm going to check it out either, but it's interesting to say the least. All right, so let's get to some news, because that's what we all are here for, to talk about some news. Now, I could get into the impeachment. Oh, by the way, we have the Monday Night Football live going on today. So we're on the radio. We're only going to broadcast till 4:30. Then we have to go to NFL because of contractual obligations. But for Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, we will go on. My show will go on until 5 o'clock. So if you're listening on the radio and you want to continue listening after 4:30, go to Facebook Live or YouTube, and you can catch me there. All right, guys. So, as you know, it's all about impeachment, and they're fighting. And we are going to do a story on it. But I'm going to lead off with something outside of impeachment, because there is actual news going on outside of the impeachment world today. There's actually two major things going on the national stage, which, if it wasn't for impeachment, these things would be huge news. And unfortunately, not getting the play that it should be. One, I think, is kind of negative. The other, I think, is kind of positive. And we'll hit what I think is the biggest one first. So President Trump announced late on Sunday night that the United States would remove troops in northern Syria. And this drew a ton of backlash from many of the president's own party. And I have to be honest with you, I'm a little skeptical of this myself. Many are upset because it will leave the Kurds, who we have been fighting side by side with. Many feel that it will leave them unprotected. And that's not good for anybody. Apparently, the Pentagon was completely blindsided, according to a USA Today report, a couple other reports. They had no idea this was coming, completely blindsided by it. They said that no one saw this coming at this time. They knew it was on President Trump's agenda. They just had no idea that he was hitting them with it now. So Turkish President Erdogan, I can't say his first and second name there, we'll just say Erdogan, he has not hid his dislike for the Kurds in the past, nor will he be liking them in the future. Now, why we would trust that something crazy wouldn't happen now leaves me wondering if President Trump is telling President Erdogan, okay, you take it from here. I have some theories about this, which we'll talk about during this piece, but I got to be honest with you, I'm not really liking this at all. We all know what happened the last time that U.S. forces left that region under Barack Obama, and it was just utter chaos. ISIS just kind of rejuvenated itself, and we had to go back in. I'm not feeling good about this. I don't like the fact that we've been fighting side by side with the Kurds, and all of a sudden we're leaving them. They've got many more troops there than we do, no doubt about it. America has about 1,000 troops in Syria at this time. I think it's always between 1,000 and 2,000. They have these troops that work with the Kurds to prevent another ISIS uprising from occurring, and that's the main thing. Yeah, it's war, but it's not. It's more of. It's kind of like preventive medicine. You know, you're trying to show your presence there so that something doesn't happen, and sometimes that's just as important as a war itself. It's sometimes more important. Now, Trump let everyone know late last year that he wanted to withdraw from Syria. It was part of the campaign promise, and he was hoping to get that done. He, it's very important in an election year that you keep your promises, and I get it. But at the cost of war, again, you get every intention of doing it, but I'm not really sure this is the right time for him to be doing this. Many believe that this was what Mad Dog Mattis and the president didn't see eye to eye on, which led to General Mattis resigning. I absolutely can understand that fully. I mean, if you're the general, or if you're a leader of anything, I don't care if it's a baseball team. You don't want to leave the people that you go to battle with. You don't want to leave them alone. You want to see it through. And I just don't. I think General Mattis understood that if we didn't learn from the first time what happened, what makes us think that this is going to be successful the second time? Him and President Trump just didn't see eye to eye. I personally like General Mattis. I haven't read his book yet. I hear it's an outstanding book, which I've got so many books to still read, but I do want to read it. But I hear there's a lot of life lessons there. I'm just uneasy about this. Now, those in the military are never in favor of leaving their brothers behind, which of course is understandable. When you've gone to battle with someone for so long, you never want to forsake them. You just don't. It doesn't feel good. You feel like you're being a little bit of a traitor. I'm sure the Kurds understand that if it was up to them, they'd be staying as long as they needed. We've all heard these stories of these military soldiers coming back from war, just talking about how friendly some of the Kurds were, and just even some of the opposition was in helping them. So it's just an uneasy, gut-wrenching feeling that I have here on this. But you never want to forsake the people that you went shoulder to shoulder with, especially if the battle is not officially won. There's a sense that without us, they won't be able to fight off what inevitably is going to happen. That's the sense that I have. I think that's the sense that a lot of people have, and it's just not a comfortable feeling. America and Turkey have tried to negotiate a kind of buffer zone along the Turkey-Syria border. They eventually came to an agreement to push the Kurds away from the border, but they could not agree on the distance. Turkey wanted to move them 19 miles from the border. I think it initially was 30 miles. Then they wanted to go 19 miles, but America wanted the Kurds placed at about a 9-mile radius. Whatever distance it is, why would Turkey want the Kurds to be so far away? Because they have good intentions? I just don't buy that. I'm sorry. General Jack Keane, who's often seen on Fox News, he was strongly against this and did not hold back his thoughts on Fox News. This is a guy who, if you hear Fox News, you've heard him a lot. Clearly has a lot of world experience in this type of thing. And this is what he had to say. He says, there's one word that describes this for me: betrayal. I think it's a strategic blunder that will have significant implications. We went into eastern Syria to defeat ISIS. The Syrian Democratic Forces, which the Kurds were a part of, had 60,000 ground troops. We provided 2,000 to help them. It took us 2 years. We fought every single day to defeat ISIS. The Syrian Kurds, who we're talking about here, lost over 11,000 in the fight. That's a lot of people, 11,000. And if you're one of the 2,000 American soldiers that have been out there, and it's been much more than 2,000 because they go on deployment, they come back, so we've had more than 2,000, obviously. But if you're one of those guys and you've seen, 11 of 60,000 fall, you're not feeling great about that. I mean, you're just not. You want to be a part of, finishing this deal up. So, I get how they're feeling. He went on to say, and now we're trying to keep our foot on their throats so they don't reemerge. And again, he's talking about ISIS, again in eastern Syria, and they're already showing some activity. He continued, how can we possibly walk away from them now? That's a good question, my friend. That's a very good question. He said, I understand about endless wars, but this is not about war. This was, I think, one of the greatest slides that he said on news today. He said, this is not about endless wars. This is not about a war. This is about how do you manage the peace. I love that line because that really is what this is about. How do you manage post-conflict? That's what the issue is. We have two national interests here. One is do not permit ISIS to reemerge. And second, do not permit Iran to take over all of Syria and therefore be able to encroach on Israel. Guys, when he said this that was so good. Okay? This is about how do you manage peace. We have troops there to manage peace, not to be in war. It's a mindset. It's how you frame the scenario that creates what you think about the scenario. He says wars have endings, clearly, but it's the peace you have to put as much effort into winning as well. Look what happened when we pulled out of Iraq. We won the war there. Bush handed a victory over to President Obama. Obama walked away because he was fed up with it. Barack Obama just didn't have the stomach for any kind of war. Let's face it. It just wasn't what he was. He didn't have the fortitude for it. He said, we lost that peace and we found ourselves embroiled in a much larger conflict after that. That was tragic. Keen is right. Listen, man. Look, guys, listen. This show, I do not do the show just to continue to praise the president for everything that he does. That's not what I do. All right? It's to be honest about what I feel is right. And if the president does something that I don't agree with, I feel like I have to say it. I'm not going to agree with anything that I'm not going to agree with everything that somebody says. In this case here, I hate to say it, but I'm not feeling it. When you look at a map, when you look at a map of Syria, it sits above a very important country and what we call our most important ally, and that's Israel. That is Israel. That's what it is. Over the past year, I've seen pictures and I have read articles of Iran and Turkey and Russia all holding hands and all coming to agreements and all being very close with each other. And they all have taken up space in Syria. They have all taken up space in Syria, particularly near the Golan Heights. That's what you guys have to understand. This is much more than about ISIS. Turkey has much more interest in this Syria region than just Golan Heights. Than just ISIS. This is not really about ISIS. This is about the Golan Heights. This is the reason Russia is so protective of Syria. He needs some of that real estate there for potential military move. That's why they protect Syria. It has nothing to do with this ISIS thing. It all has to do with Israel. They need real estate. They need that particular real estate to strategically put them in a position that if they're going to attack Israel as a team between Iran, Turkey, and Russia, that's the strategic spot. The Golan Heights has an absolute plethora of wealth in the form of natural gas, in the form of oil, and I'm sure that Iran and Russia would love to get their hands on it. There's no doubt they would want to get their hands on it, all right? Right now, because of the price of oil, it costs Russia more to get it out of the areas that they have than to sell it. It's just not viable. They've got to be very strategic in making any money at all. But the Golan Heights, it's rich. It's rich in natural resources. Also, strategically, you have to understand that the Golan Heights, it sits way up. And from a military standpoint, you want to have that region. Because let's say, hypothetically, if you're looking to attack Israel, you're at the Golan Heights, you're looking down at Israel, you can see everything that's happening. If Israel's on top of the Golan Heights, they're looking at Syria and being able to see everything that they're doing. Strategically, it's a very, very, very valuable piece of real estate. If you don't even just talk about the natural resources that it has, it's a tremendously wealthy. It's property A. It's property number one, and everybody wants a piece of it. It is that important. I promise you that. This is a lot more than about ISIS. This is a lot more than just about ISIS. I'm really curious to see what Israel has to say about the United States pulling out of there. I'm fascinated to find out about this. If Turkey is in cahoots with Iran and Russia, do you think that they're going to just deter either of those countries, being Iran or Russia, if they decide to go ahead and push forward on the Golan Heights? This is so much bigger. If Turkey's in cahoots with Iran and Russia, they're not going to push back on Iran, and they're going to break that agreement with the United States right away. Absolutely, they're going to. No question about it. I know what the president is trying to do. I know that the president is trying to get France and Germany and some of these other European countries to say, hey, look, the United States is pulling out. We need to do our part, and we need to send some soldiers over there. I'm sure that's what he's trying to do, and maybe what he's trying to do is say, look, if you're not going in, maybe you need to throw some money our way for our military to be there. Maybe, I don't know. I just can't believe that President Trump would just leave that area without understanding the things that I'm talking about. I'm sure he understands the things that I'm talking about. This is priority one with Israel. They see what Syria. They see everything going on with Syria. They see what's going on with Iran and Turkey and Russia. They know the dangers that lie there. I'm sure that this is not something that President Trump is blind to. All right. My fear is that France and Germany, these other European nations, they're not going to step up. They're just not going to step up. It's not what they do. All right? Maybe that's his play. Maybe he's trying to force their hand in them helping out. I don't see it. I really don't see it, but maybe I'm wrong. I think that if the president is serious about pulling troops out of there, he needs to have an extremely short leash on Turkey and the way that they manage that region. I mean an extremely short leash. I mean like they take one step out, just one wrong step, and you got to jump on them, man. They cannot afford to have this messed up. They really can't. I really don't feel good about this at all. I'm hoping that I'm wrong. I'm hoping that the president has a plan B. I'm hoping that the new general that he has there since Mattis has left, I'm hoping that they have a plan B. I'm hoping that they know exactly what they're doing. We'll see. This could turn out to be just a horrific mess, just an absolute disaster. It really could. All right, for some of the good news, the U.S. and Japan on Wednesday, they signed a limited trade deal that would apparently eliminate tariffs and expand market access on farm, industrial, and digital products. This is great. This should be headline news. We're not hearing about it, and you definitely won't hear about it on the mainstream media. I'm not even sure if you're going to hear about it on Fox tonight, but you're going to hear about it here on my show because it's a big deal, and it's a good deal. All right? It does not address automobiles, and that's a key sticking point during the months of contentious negotiations between President Abiy and Donald Trump. And Donald Trump had indicated the two countries were still working on a broader agreement. Trump called it the first stage of a phenomenal new trade agreement, and he described it as outlining the significant steps we're talking toward a fair and reciprocal trade agreement. In the fairly near future, we're going to have a lot more comprehensive deals, he said, with Japan. And I think that's great. Why is it great? Because Japan is the third largest economy in the world. This is important. This is a very important deal. Abiy has said the agreement is good for both countries. He said we have successfully covered a wide range of areas, including not only the industrial goods, but also the agricultural products and also the digital trade between the two sides. He's right. It's a big deal. This is really good for the U.S. Japan has the world's third largest economy, which I said earlier. It's the economy that we can do fair trade with them. This is obviously a big deal, particularly for the agriculture, okay? Japan has been worried that Trump might slap some new tariffs on its automobiles, which makes up a significant amount of its exports in the United States. It's a big part of their economies, the exports of cars that they bring here. Abiy said he received assurances from the president that a previous agreement not to place more tariffs on Japanese autos or auto parts, that it still stands. Good. I think President Abiy has been, I hope I say it right, he's been straight up. He's been very up. He seems like he's willing to negotiate. He seems like he's got a good ear listening to how both sides can win in a deal. I personally like the guy, at least what I know so far. Abiy said, between President Trump and myself, this has been firmly confirmed that no further additional tariffs will be imposed. United States Trade Representative Robert Litzger Lighthizer, I'm just going to say Robert, and he said it's not Trump's intention to raise tariffs on Japan. U.S. farm groups applauded the announcement. Well, they should. All right. They've been warning the Trump administration that agricultural producers could soon expect to lose market share in Japan if the United States wasn't treated on a par with other top competitors, such as Canada and Mexico. That's why this is so important, because he took a little bit of a gamble here. He took a gamble on the fact that he got out of the Trans-Pacific agreement that they had, but he was still able to do the deal with Japan. Good on Trump. I mean, in this respect, man, kudos to him. This was a very, very big deal. Japan, which imports U.S. farm products worth $14 billion, is America's third largest market. Trump said Japan will open new markets to approximately $7 billion in U.S. agricultural products, and tariffs would now be significantly lower or eliminated entirely on American beef, pork, wheat, cheese, corn, wine, and more. This is a huge victory for American farmers, people. Absolutely. It's, as the president would say, huge. This is huge. Huge for the farmers, the ranchers, the growers, and that's very important to them. So this is fantastic. This is absolutely fantastic. I hope China's paying attention. I really do. I'm sure that the president would love to be making these deals with China as well. China just has to come to the table and try to have a win-win situation in negotiating. They can't be just trying to be so greedy and stealing everything. And they're hoping against hope. They're hoping that a Democrat's going to take this party. They're hoping that Biden can win so he can take advantage of him like he did the first 8 years with Obama. I'm sure that's what he's hoping for. It's not going to happen, President Xi. And President Trump told you, the longer you wait, the harder it gets. I would really be paying attention to this guy. All right. Maybe it's going to take seeing how Japan benefits from this for President Xi to be more negotiable. I hope so. I hope that Xi becomes more negotiable. I mean, it's important for the world that China is a part of good negotiating and not just being thieves. I mean, honestly. Look, if the UK can figure out their Brexit situation, he's going to be making big deals with the UK. He's already so, and the UK's already said so. I think that's why Boris Johnson is trying so hard to make this thing happen, and he should. I would be doing that too. India's already having meetings with the president about deals that would benefit each country. Was it Modi? Am I saying that right? Modi? I think Modi. He during the G7 summit, he flew. He wasn't invited, but he flew out there anyways to talk to the president. They got 1.3 billion people in that country. Yeah, you want to do business with those people. Of course you do. China is going. If you're going to be left out cold, you're going to be left out cold. China doesn't understand. You're stronger together than you are apart. And I guess he just doesn't get it. The next 5 years, and I say 5 years because I count on the president winning that election in 2020. These next 5 years could be an absolute bonanza for the economy if these kinds of deals can be made. So, there we have it. We have one good thing that happened. We have one, I think, not so good thing that happened. I'm really concerned about this series. I really, really am. The Golan Heights is really what everybody's after. Everybody's after the Golan Heights. This is not about ISIS. The media can talk about ISIS all they want. They can cover it up. It's always like, here's the camouflage. Here's the camouflage. We want you to pay attention to this. In the meantime, our real interest is here. Guys, don't let the media fool you. This is not about ISIS. I don't want the troops to leave because I'm of Israel. I don't want the troops to leave because of the Golan Heights. Oh, man. I tell you, for those of you that read the Bible, man, when you see a story like this, honest to God, the first thing you think about is Ezekiel 38. I'm not going to get too preachy on you, but if any of you guys, I know some of my listeners, one in particular, that he's very familiar with Ezekiel 38, it's the stuff like this that makes you go, oh, snap, it's happening. So, yeah, they know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Gosh, President Trump, I wish I could just have a conversation with you to say, what is it that you're thinking here? I guess we all would like that potential to do that. We don't have that option. This isn't about ISIS, folks. It's not about ISIS. All right, guys, listen, we're at the Big Times Fresno Fair. This is like day 5 or day 6. I know we're going to go on a break shortly. I know that there's the football game coming on. I was about to say Fresno. San Francisco 49ers and Cleveland Browns. Cleveland's at San Francisco. San Francisco's 3-0. Big home game for San Francisco. They finally get to show the world they're a decent team. I think they got a very underrated defense. I see them doing something good there. I think that San Francisco's got a shot at making some things happen. So I think it's going to be a good game for 49er fans. That's what I think. I'm probably a little prejudiced. I'm just not a big Baker Mayfield fan at quarterback. And over here at the fair, as I mentioned earlier in the show, we got Paul Anka tonight at 7 o'clock. So for anybody that's Paul Anka fans and just that era of Sinatra and stuff like that, the Rat Pack, come on down. Come on down. I think seniors today were getting in for free between 9 and 1. I think they were giving pneumonia shots to people. I think they were doing all kinds of stuff. They have a silent disco going on at some point today. I don't know what a silent disco means. I wish I did. Discos aren't silent. I have no idea what that's about. And they got the old cow milking demonstration. So, that should be interesting, to say the least. All right. So when we get back, I'm going to talk a little bit about the situation with impeachment and just some of the stuff that's being said on the left side and what's said on the right side. And I just want to know what's real. I want to know what's true. I don't want to just count on that I'm listening to one side and that this must be right and everybody else is wrong. All right. So I think I'm getting feedback. I think we're getting feedback that we are going to go on break. Yep, we will do that, and I will be back after the break. 4:30. I just went on break. I didn't hear anything. Hey guys. Hello. Yeah, we're off radio, right? Okay, I heard no music or anything, so I had no idea. I just had to guess at this. That, all right. So how many minutes do I have? All right. Yeah, I just wish I would have had some music telling me that it was time to get out because I was kind of like I didn't know if I was over or not. No, only because I can't see anything here. So I looked at my phone. It said 4:30. I said, okay, I guess I'm out. So I did, but it keeps cutting off, and I don't know why. Yeah, it keeps cutting off, and it's driving me nuts. Yeah, yeah, I did that, and I'm like, what the heck? So is Facebook able to hear us here right now or no? Okay, so they're listening to all this. All right, give me a few minutes. All right.
That was happening to me. We're talking to each other. I'm like throw you off.
It does. It throws me off, and I'm like, I did a segment well. I think I had some good info.
This was about the Syria and Japan.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, man, this is not about ISIS. This is not the goal of ISIS. It's a big deal. I don't know what the president's doing there.
Did you read his tweet about it?
There was a tweet.
He was just the usual thing. Much money.
I don't care. But
So you all,
I'm going to talk about this impeachment thing for about 10, 12 minutes, 10, 11 minutes.
just signal me down whenever you want.
Yeah, but yeah. What's that next segment? Hey, by the way, guys. So like when you guys are talking to each other loud, like I can't hear myself. I'm like, I'm like, I'm like, what did I just say? I'm like, I, is one hooked up? Oh, I can hear me, but when you guys start talking, I'm hearing all three of us, and I'm like, I don't know where I'm at or what I said. Sometimes it's kind of weird. Who's around me? Well, Jairus kind of bounces in and out, but oh, no, why? What? Now you're gonna mess me up? Oh, okay. I gotta try to get my next story too. Where is my next story? Shoot.
All right, guys. Are we back in the studio? Are we good?
Are we good on the studio? Okay. All right. Because I can't see myself, so I don't know. Why can't... Hey, Jairus. He says we're good, but I can't see myself. I got no idea.
That guy thought you were Ray Appleton.
You can see me because I can't see. All right, because it doesn't come up on our screen. Is that supposed to come?
Yeah, we're not getting anything.
Yeah,
on
we're
this
not getting any
screen,
feedback on my screen.
But does he look good? Is everything good? Because we got to get him back.
Yeah,
on.
I got to get back on.
So if he looks fine, let's just go with it.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out later.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that I see myself. I just want to make sure that Facebook can see me.
Yeah, you are. You're still on.
All right. Hey, let's get some intro and do this. All right. And please give me some music when I'm coming off. Okay. And I can see your clock.
Back to the John Meccico Show on the Valley's new talk leader, Talk Radio 1680 KGED.
All right, welcome back to Talk Radio 1680 KGED, my Facebook people. How are we? All right, so I got Jairus Jackson eating a Cinnabon in front of me here, and it looks quite good. Downing it with a little bit of milk. Yeah, I had not. Keep it classy. I have not had the famous Cinnabon here yet.
People want to put bacon and cereal on it.
Bacon and cereal? Oh my gosh.
It's original.
All right, stop it. All right, we're getting back to news because that's what I do. All right, so listen. Oh, man. So, I didn't want to talk about the impeachment too much. That's why I saved it for the third segment, or second segment, I guess, in this case. There are some questions that were raised over the weekend that we need to clear up because one side is saying one thing and one side is saying another thing. And I'm like, what the heck is right and what the heck is wrong? So, all right. So one of the questions was whether or not the House of Representatives have to put the process of impeaching the President of the United States to a vote. We've been told by the right that, yes, it must be done, but we are being told by Nancy Pelosi and her group that, no, it doesn't need to be done. Well, which one is it? So Andy McCarthy, who the more I hear this guy, the more I respect this guy, and reading his stuff, I guess he does a piece on the National Review. He's outstanding. He wrote about this, and he said in Article 1, Section 2 of Clause 5, it says that the House of Representatives shall have the sole power of impeachment. The House of Representatives. See, it would appear that our Constitution vests the entirety of the power to call for removal of the President of the United States in a single body called the House. Not one person, the House. Now, not in the Speaker of the House, as in Speaker Pelosi. It's in the House of Representatives. The institution, not just one of its members. And that's one of the things that I was curious about. I'm like, I mean, anybody can look up the law. Why is it that one side is saying one and one is saying the other? Wouldn't you be scared of getting caught in a lie? But apparently, they're not. See, yet Nancy Pelosi appears to be speaking for everyone when she gets in front of the camera and states that the House will begin formal impeachment inquiries. Does Mrs. Pelosi wield a lot of power in the House? Of course she does. Even if many of us are believing that Ocasio-Cortez is running the joint, it's Nancy Pelosi who was chosen by a majority of the House. They got 435 members there. So it takes 218 to make things happen. All right? So, but she's like the head person, right? She, at any time, she could just tell them to take a vote. All right? She is second in line to be president of the United States. If something, God forbid, something happened to the president and the vice president, you're looking at Nancy Pelosi as the person in charge. God forbid, to please. Oh, my, that would just be horrible. But this doesn't mean that she can speak for all House members. Let's not get it confused. Because she's the Speaker of the House does not mean that she can just go ahead and dictate what the House is going to do, because not every member of the House, not all 435 members, are going to agree with her. There's going to be times they don't agree. Is she powerful? Yes, of course she's powerful. Is she powerful enough to have the House vote on whether or not to go forward with an impeachment inquiry? Yeah, she's that powerful. Powerful enough to impeach on her own? Hell no. No, she's not that powerful. You would think she is, though, the way she talks. She is merely one vote. She's one vote in a potential 218 needed to move forward with such an inquiry, such as impeachment. That's what she is. She's one vote. She can force the vote to happen. She has a voice. She has a say. She has some prestige in the House. We're not going to deny that. But no, she can't just run amok and make things happen like that. That cannot happen. Uh, she is Speaker of the House. She is not the House. She does not have the authority to call for the removal of the president, although she acts like she does. She does not have that authority. All right. She can argue for it like any other member can. She can vote on it like any of the other members can. But she cannot do it herself. Only the House, acting as an institution, can do that. Quite simple. Very simple, to be honest with you. All right. The second question had to do with this whistleblower. Donald Trump and many others want to know who the whistleblower is. Personally, I want to know who the whistleblower is. I mean, let's face it, if you don't have the conviction to come out of hiding with such a strong accusation being made about the leader of the country, the leader of the free world, and let's be honest, it comes off as a bit weak. You're not coming off too strong hiding. You look like Hunter Biden, you're just hiding. I mean, honestly, you're coming off kind of weak. Now, the Dems say, no, the whistleblower doesn't have to be revealed, but others have said he should. Well, which is it? I'm tired of hearing two sides of the story. Which is it? The Democrats, according to Andy McCarthy, are relying on a law that deals with intelligence activities that are under the authority of the Director of National Intelligence. Let me say it again. On a law that deals with intelligence activities that are under the authority of the Director of National Intelligence. The problem is that the President of the United States is not under the authority of the Director of National Intelligence. So, is he under that jurisdiction where a whistleblower can blow a whistle on him? It doesn't appear to be. By the way, that national intelligence guy, if you're wondering who the director, because we keep hearing it, the director of national intelligence, they keep saying it because nobody knows who Joseph McGuire is. Joseph McGuire was that guy that you saw in front of the house 2 weeks ago, and the shifty one kept asking him questions, trying to pin him down on it. What do you think? And what do you think? And he was trying to be as non-political as he could and saying, it's not up to me to think. It's up to me to do. He's like, you guys have all the information that you need. You guys make a decision on what you want to do. Don't ask me what I think. You guys may remember that, all right? He was also the guy that's worked under so many different presidents and has taken like 11 different, he swore an oath under like 11 different times for our country, and they were still trying to ruin his reputation. You know, that guy, if you can remember that. So, if that's the case, should the whistleblower have been able to blow the whistle in the first place if the president does not work under the authority of the Director of National Intelligence? It would sound like he shouldn't. Should he even be called a whistleblower and have the normal protection that a whistleblower would normally have? Probably not. So I can see where the president is saying, wait a minute, that doesn't account for me, so therefore, I want to know who this guy is. Should whistleblowers have protection? Of course they should have protection. But this person is accusing the President of the United States of wrongdoing. And the President is not under the authority, as I said earlier, of the Director of National Intelligence. Also, if you read the whistleblower's transcript, there were numerous things that were false that he said in there. Now, he really has no credibility at all. I don't know. I mean, do I even care about the guy at this point? I'm just for my own curiosity. I don't really have to know what he thinks because we already have the transcripts. All right? And that leads me to my third question. Now they have a second whistleblower that apparently has direct knowledge. Is this supposed to change my mind? Am I supposed to hear something new from this guy? You know what? I don't understand. We all have direct knowledge now. We all have the transcripts. We've all read the transcripts. It doesn't matter if they have a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth whistleblower. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because we've all seen the transcripts. But that's the one thing that I hated that he gave up the transcripts because I know they're going to keep asking for all these transcripts, and the buck better stop here. But the one thing he did do was there's no more whistleblowers that should be able to come out that have any say in this because we all have direct knowledge now. We all have direct knowledge. I have no idea what the Dems are doing, what this attorney is doing, and say we have a second whistleblower. Who cares? We've all seen the transcripts. We all have as much knowledge as that person does, or the first person does, or whoever else you're going to say was on the call. We all have it. The shifty one lost here, and that's just really the bottom line. He, it doesn't matter anymore. It really just doesn't matter. So, I don't know. That was my take, and I think this needs to be over with. If you're going to impeach, put the votes to it. All right. If you're not going to, just shut up. Dems, just shut up. If you're not going to move, stop. You're wasting our time. You're wasting our time. Nobody wants to hear about this anymore. The country's sick of it, and you really are desperate. And it's really what this is all coming down to. So, as far as I'm concerned, there's really nothing left to say. This whistleblower situation is a hoax. It's almost like a page out of the Russian collusion hoax. They just keep doing this. And let's be honest, people. If they don't start investigating Biden, their credibility is shot. They mean nothing to me. What they say, what the left says, because I do try to pay attention to what they say. I want to make sure that I can defend my position if I'm having a discussion with somebody else. But if you are not going to, if you're going to turn a blind eye and you're not going to investigate Biden, then forget it because you have no credibility. I don't know if anybody saw Chuck, what's his face from MSNBC, Chuck, whatever, I can't remember. The guy that took Russell's spot. His name's not even worth mentioning. And he was talking about bringing these Fox collusion things to his program, and he was all dignified by it. Nothing that guy said was wrong. We have Biden on tape. My gosh, if you're not going to investigate somebody on tape, what credibility do you have? You keep bringing these whistleblowers. Stop it. It's embarrassing. Just stop it. All right, guys, we're at the Fresno Fair, and I think Jairus is done eating that Cinnabon in front of me. I certainly hope that he is, because that was just not right. That was very wrong in so many levels. Was the Cinnabon good?
Delicious.
He says it was delicious.
Like it wasn't gonna be good?
I don't know. I'm just asking. All right, guys. I don't even know how much time we have on this break here. They keep telling me there's a break coming. I think there's a break coming. All right. So, listen, we're at the Fresno Fair, and for all you guys that may be listening from Facebook, come over, join us, take some pictures, take some photos. I saw Jairus taking pictures with some people. Get some of that Cinnabon stuff that he was talking about, or eating in front of me. Dirty dog. All right, I may even bring it back on the last segment here. All right, guys, you listen to Talk Radio 1680 KGED. Talk Radio 1680. All right, guys, see you in a minute. Yeah, I can't hear you. I just took my headphones off for a second. Okay, give me about 3 minutes.
What happened?
No, I was just talking. All right. All right. So, and they did want us talking about the Fresno Fair.
That's right. That's right.
All right. Let me see. Let's see if we can move this a
I
little
can just
bit.
grab this stool if you don't want to.
No. I mean, I'm just holding this one piece of paper here. Actually, he gave me a. And let's see if we can move this.
It's a shame you're on the air because the lady who just came by, she was a fan of yours.
Of mine? Why
Yeah.
did you stick around?
No. They were trying to get to the. I don't know. They were trying to get maybe the racetrack. I don't know. They were trying to get.
A fan of mine?
Yeah.
What'd she say?
She said she loved your show, number one.
Really?
Maybe I shouldn't say the last part. Her husband was there, but she said she's a very nice-looking man. I'll leave it at that.
How old is she? Because her eyesight's perfect.
She was married. John.
So don't worry about being married. Just will make sure that she's just a good eyesight. So, hey, we gotta move this camera a little bit to get you on, man. You okay? No, man, come on.
I mean, they can hear us. They can see us.
I come in the back of your head to show. Hey, Woody. Hey, Woody. I don't know. I got no idea. All right. Are we back? Okay. Let's get started. All right. Yeah, let's do it. Back on Talk Radio 1680 KGED, and we are at the big Fresno Fair